Yeah. I love that song. I love that beat. I love that vibe. You guys are locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Y'all know how I'm carrying it. Y'all know how I'm giving it up. Oh, man, let me get this out the way. I don't need no distractions. I don't need no mishaps. Thank y'all so much for locking in on the content. I'm your guy, Tone DeShields II, and I do not take this role or this position for granted. Man, I don't take the Philadelphia Eagles being in the playoffs for granted. You know what I'm saying? I don't take none of it for granted. You know why? Because I'm blessed by the best, and this position is not for the faint of heart. And I truly believe that we all got our role in this thing. We all got our role in this championship run for the Philadelphia Eagles. It's important that we recognize our role. We double down on our strengths, try to work on our weaknesses, man. That's what I'm hoping the Philadelphia Eagles do, man. Entering this game, facing their NFC East rival, the New York Giants. I'm hoping and praying that the Philadelphia Eagles double down on their strengths and try to minimize their weaknesses. This is a huge game for all parties involved, but this is an even bigger game for the Philadelphia Eagles. And trust me, I really believe the Philadelphia Eagles have everything they need to win the Super Bowl. I believe they have all the talent that they can ask for. I believe the coaching is good enough to win the Super Bowl. I believe that we have the quarterback to win the Super Bowl. I think this team has the right leadership, right? I think this team has all the nuances and all the cogs. They have every tool in the toolbox to win the Super Bowl. That's my humble opinion. But they have to first go through the New York Giants. It's not going to be easy. The New York Giants are going to fight tooth and nail to win this game. Don't think because the Eagles may have them down 20-10 in the third quarter or may have them down 30-18 or 17 in the fourth quarter. Don't think they're not going to try to come back and win that game. Don't think they're not going to try to throw the kitchen sink and everything at the Philadelphia Eagles. This is not going to be a cakewalk. I want y'all to know this. This game is going to go down to it. Now, I do have the Philadelphia Eagles winning this game. And I want you guys to drop your score predictions throughout the show. I'm going to give my score prediction towards the end. But I definitely have my score prediction locked in. If you guys have been keeping up with Jacob Sports, so you probably heard my score prediction a couple times or maybe even once. But regardless, you know, my score prediction is locked in. I'm not changing it. Again, I think this is going to be a tough game. And I think the Eagles are going to pretty much dictate the pace of the game. And the Giants are just going to be playing catch up. But I ultimately believe that the Eagles win this game. So if you guys are just hopping into the live stream, smash that like button. I want you guys to make yourself known, right? Comment in the live chat. Let me know where you're from. Let me know where you reside. Let me know where you're holding it down at. Let me know where you live chat, you live tweeting from. I need to know where you guys at. And I also want to know where you guys are going to be watching the game, right? Some people are probably going to their favorite sports bar. Some people are probably going to be with family. Some people probably going to be at Ocean Casino. That's where I'll be, Ocean Casino Resort. You know, but overall, though, I think there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure on the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. Whereas the Giants, they're playing with house money. There's no pressure on the Giants to win this game. They've overachieved. Even if they lost last week against the Vikings, they've already met their goals. They've already exceeded what was expected of them for the 2022 season, right? But the Philadelphia Eagles, the road doesn't end at 14-3. It doesn't end there. And it never should be a thought where you're settling for 14-3. That's why I kind of get bothered sometimes where, you know, when people always say, yeah, but we was 14-3 though. We was 14-3 though. Yeah, I mean, that mattered when it mattered. But now you got the number one seed. It's locked up. Your record is irrelevant. Now, what will you do on Saturday? What will you do when it's time to put up or shut up? That's the vibes. That's where I'm at with it. You know, now was not the time to fall back on your priors. Now was the time to understand that you're going to get everybody the best shot. Everybody's going to come at you with their best shot. Because trust, Brian Daboll is going to have that team prepared. Kafka, Mike Kafka and Wink Martindale, the OC and the DC, respectively, they're going to have that team prepared. And I fully expect Nick Sirianni to have Jalen Hurts and those boys prepared. I really believe that this is really going to be one of those games where Jalen Hurts is just balling. I think Jalen Hurts is going to go crazy. I really believe that. And we're going to learn a lot about the direction of this offensive game plan on the first few plays. Probably the first drive, to be realistic. We're definitely going to learn a lot about this game plan. We're going to learn a lot about what this Eagles team is trying to accomplish pretty early, right? If you ask me, I think the Philadelphia Eagles, they have to get Dallas Goedert involved. They have to. They have to make Dallas Goedert a threat because A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith are always going to win their matchups, right? Always. They're always going to dominate. But Dallas Goedert, he hasn't really, he's been getting back from that injury, and they haven't really, utilized him too much in the game plan. I think since coming back from the injury, he's averaging maybe 4 or 5 targets a game, maybe 3 catches a game. So I think it's going to be important for the Philadelphia Eagles to try to get Dallas Goedert back involved in this game plan. Because if Dallas Goedert is cooking, that just changes the way it actually makes your offense unstoppable. And it'll get Jalen Hurts back to utilize in the middle of the field. Since coming back from an injury, I mean, he only played 1 game coming back from the injury, but most of his passes were pretty shallow. He took a couple deep shots, but for the most part, he kept it pretty conservative. I think all that passiveness goes out the door going into this matchup tomorrow. 24 hours until kickoff, you guys. A little over 24 hours, but you know what I mean. A full day until kickoff. We're almost there. What will we see? What should we expect? Am I overblowing the amount of pressure on the Eagles? Is there any pressure on the Eagles? There has to be, right? You're the number 1 seed. You've been the most dominant team in the NFL for the most part all throughout the year. You've had the longest win streaks, in the NFL. Well, I actually think the 49ers have that right now. I think they've won like 10 games in a row, if I'm not mistaken. But the Philadelphia Eagles, you've been the more dominant team, the most dominant team in the NFL. So the pressure is on you as the number 1 seed to knock out the number 6 seed. We all know the talent disparity between the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. It's no comparison. It's not even a conversation. It's just not. A.J. Brown, Adoree Jackson, you know who I'm taking, right? You know who I'm taking in that game. Let's take it a step further. Hassan Reddick, Evan Neal. I like Hassan Reddick's odds. Devontae Smith, Fabian Moreau. I like Devontae Smith's odds. Dallas Goedert versus, the New York Giants linebackers and safeties. I like Dallas Goedert's odds. Fletcher Cox and Dominic Sue, Javon Hargrave, those boys, Livon Joseph versus Nick Gates, John Feliciano, and Mark Glowinski, the left guard, center, and right guard for the Giants. I like the Eagles' odds. Darius Slay versus Isaiah Hodgins. I like Darius Slay's odds. I can go on and on. The bottom line is the Philadelphia Eagles win 95, 99% of the matchups from a talent perspective. Now it's all about execution. And that's the priority. That's the priority here, executing. So as a matter of fact, who do you guys think catches the first ball? Lala D, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Who catches the first ball? A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, Kenny Gainwell. Who catches the first rock? Because I'm telling you, go through Dallas Goedert and everything else will fall into place. I believe that. A.J. Brown is going to get his no matter what. A.J. Brown is going to get his no matter what. But Dallas Goedert, he has to get involved in the game plan. He has to, right? But I want to flip the field a little bit. I kind of want to talk a little bit more about this Philadelphia Eagles defense because I think that's where most of the questions are. I was rewatching the first game. I was rewatching the games. I was rewatching the games that the Eagles and Giants played earlier in the year. The first game and the second game. I mainly focused on that first game because I felt like that was probably a more accurate indicator. That second game, you didn't really see any starters on the Giants side, and the Eagles were kind of sleepwalking through that game. They were just trying to get in and get out. But that first matchup, and they beat them on the road too. That first matchup was just pure dominance by the Philadelphia Eagles, and it just seemed as though the Giants just couldn't get off the field. The Eagles were just dominating their matchups time and time again. Now, granted, the Giants were missing Xavier McKinney. They was missing Xavier McKinney, their safety. They was missing Adoree Jackson, their starting corner, right? I think they were missing Leonard Williams, their other D tackle, right? But Dexter Lawrence was there, right? Other guys were there, but they were hurt at the time. But regardless, it was just a pure domination from top up to top down. It's not a conversation about talent anymore. We know who wins the talent battle. Executing. The defense has to execute, right? Can the defense get off the field? Quick 3 and outs. That's my thing. This is how the Eagles win this game, especially from the defensive side of the ball. You can't allow Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley to keep this team in second and short, in third and short. You can't allow Saquon Barkley to beat you on the edge, to beat you in space, because that's what the Giants want to do. They want to get Saquon Barkley going in space, even if they're not handing him the ball. You're going to see Saquon Barkley maybe lined up in the slot. You might see him lined up in a bunch formation. You might see him swing out to the right, swing out to the left to catch the ball. You might see him on a Texas route. He goes out, then he cuts in up the middle of the field. They want to get Saquon going. They want to get Daniel Jones going. Don't allow Daniel Jones to break you down outside the pocket. And I think that was the more interesting thing about that first matchup. They didn't really allow Daniel Jones to really get out the pocket that much. Daniel Jones only ran the ball like 4 times, and he had like 19, 20 rushing yards, something like that. So Hassan Reddick, just Josh Sweat and those boys, they did a pretty good job in their gap discipline. And that was a game where Saquon was a little banged up. So I think Saquon is actually healthier now. So he's going to be running hard. He's going to be running with reckless abandon. But the Eagles cannot allow Saquon Barkley to dominate in space. Tackling is going to be huge. First down tackling is huge. I can't stress enough how many broken tackles we've seen on the Philadelphia Eagles. I can't stress enough. We saw it throughout the season, how bad it got. This is not a game where missed tackles are the issue. You have to be so disciplined. TJ Edwards, Kaiser White. Those are the 2 guys I'm focused on. I'm so dialed in on the middle of the field, the slot. And look, you have CJ Gardner-Johnson back. He's going to go back and forth between safety and slot corner. He's going to be able to take some of that pressure off of those guys. That's a fact. But you're going to be without Avonte Maddox. He's officially ruled out. But everybody else is going to be there. But Avonte Maddox, he's such a vital piece on his defense. So, again, defensively, the Eagles have to remain disciplined. They can't allow Saquon Barkley to dominate in space. Close on him fast. Don't allow him to get upfield. Pay attention to what Saquon wants to do. Saquon wants to get north and south. He's elusive, but he wants to get going. You can't allow him to get past. Once he gets to that 3rd and 4th step, he's gonna. He's at that point. At that point, he's generating power. You don't want Saquon to get to that 3rd, 4th, 5th step. You want to close on him by the time he gets to that 2nd, maybe the 3rd step. But you want to close on Saquon before he even gets to that 4th step. As soon as he catches the ball, boom, boom, close on him. He catch the ball, boom, 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 close on him. You don't want to let Saquon get upfield on you. because now you're putting pressure on your linebackers, even your corners, to try to make some open field tackles. You don't want that kind of pressure on them. Now, granted, the Eagles have been improving as a tackling team. They've improved, but they're still not one of the best tackling teams. But I do like Reed Blankenship as a tackler. He's a very good tackler, right? I do like Marcus Epps as a tackler. He's a pretty solid tackler. But Darius Slay, I don't see. One of my biggest fears is Darius Slay being caught on the island with Saquon Barkley. Darius Slay sucks at tackling. Let's just make it clear. Darius Slay is top tier, everything else. But when it comes to tackling, Darius Slay, man, I hope my life don't depend on it because he ain't getting that tackle. Saquon Barkley is going to mush Darius Slay into the dirt. Right? So tackling is going to be vital. ADW The Beat, thank you so much for locking in on the content, my man. He says, if our DC and head coach were creative, this would have been the perfect time to deploy Nakobe Dean on defense. You see, my thing is about Nakobe Dean on defense. Either you were going to play him earlier in the season, or you're not going to play him at all in the playoffs. Like you can't just throw him out there like willy-nilly. Like it has to make sense. And on top of that, you're not really seeing teams with 3 linebackers on the field at a time. You're not really seeing that anymore. That's just not where the NFL is. People say, "Oh, the base formation is 4-3," or the base formation is 3-4. No, the base formations for the NFL these days aren't 4-3 and aren't 3-4. The base formations are nickel, straight like that. It's rare. It's rare you see a team have more than 2 linebackers on the field. It's rare. Matter of fact, you know what teams are doing now? They're not even having 2 linebackers on the field. You know what a lot of teams are doing? They're having a linebacker and an extra safety on the field. That big nickel formation, right? That's what you're seeing teams even do that. You're seeing teams because teams understand that the league is trending in a way where passing is paramount. Running the ball is still important, but the NFL is a passing NFL, and they want as many guys on that field that can cover as much as they can carry. They want guys on that field that can cover. If you can't cover, if you're a liability in pass coverage, you're not going to be on the field that much. You're just not. Now, going back to the Nakobe Dean point, like I said, you're not going to see too many linebackers on the field. You're going to see 2 at the most for the most part. But I do think it is something to be said about, Kaiser White has kind of fallen off a little bit in terms of coverage. That's something he's supposed to be good at. But again, Avonte Maddox not being there, CJ Gardner-Johnson not being there kind of exposed that. It put Kaiser White and TJ Edwards on the island. It made them more reliability in pass coverage. When you got CJ Gardner-Johnson back there and you got Avonte Maddox, it takes pressure over those guys. They don't have to cover as much ground. So I don't know how much of a difference Nakobe Dean would make when you're missing Avonte Maddox, right? When you were missing CJ Gardner-Johnson, but CJ's back. So Nakobe Dean is still learning. I think Nakobe Dean has athleticism. I think he can cover actually better than what people think, or I think he can cover better than what people give him credit for. That's just my opinion. But best believe Nakobe Dean is going to be a starter next season. You're right. I know a lot of people like to get on. I know some people like to get on this draft class for not making a big impact early on, right? Jordan Davis, out of all the guys, probably got the most snaps, or Grant Calcaterra. You haven't really seen Cam Jurgens get snaps, rightfully so. You haven't really seen Kyron Johnson as a special teamer. Who else? Grant Calcaterra has gotten some snaps, especially when Goddard went down. Nakobe Dean hasn't really gotten snaps. And I know a lot of people don't like that the rookies aren't making an impact. But think about how talented this team is already, how deep this team is. I'm actually glad, or I'm pretty excited about being in a situation where I don't have to throw my rookies out there. Sure, I want them to get snaps. I want them to get experience. But it's actually favorable to be in a position where you actually don't have to depend on rookies to be your end-all, be-all. There's a lot of teams in the league that literally are depending on rookies to make plays. And I don't think that's right. You have to be a top-tier rookie like a Sauce Gardner, right, or a Derek Stingley. to make that high level of an impact. You have to be really a blue chipper to make that kind of impact that, earlier on. Even what's the safety for the what's the safety that the Ravens drafted out of Notre Dame? Somebody help me out. Who's that safety out of Notre Dame that the Ravens drafted? The safety. He was the best safety in the draft, so they say. I can't remember his name. Kyle Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton, that was his name. Kyle Hamilton. He struggled. He's had a up and down rookie season. They've depended on him to make plays. So the Eagles are in a position where the rookies don't really have to be the end all be all. Thanks, Lala D. I appreciate it. Kyle Hamilton. It's pretty good to be in a situation where you don't have to depend on rookies. And best believe Nakobe Dean will be a starter next year. I believe that. All right, let's get to some of these chats, man. You guys are pulling in. We got 19 people in the live stream. Continue to smash that like button. I really appreciate all the love and support you guys give, man. It really means a lot to me. It goes a long way to helping the channel grow. Lala D says, do you think Saquon is healthy? The limited carries he had last week has me wondering. That is a very good question, because some people have been putting the narrative out there that Daniel Jones was so dominant that they didn't need Saquon to really be that much of a factor. Trust me, that team wants Saquon Barkley involved as much in the offense as possible. He only had about 14 to 15 touches. He only ran the ball like 9 times, I think, and had like 6 or 5 catches. So he really wasn't that much of a factor. He got touchdowns. He had a big touchdown run. He's a big play guy, but he really wasn't that much of a factor. So it is something to be said about that, Lala D. Is he as healthy as they make him seem? Is he as healthy as the Giants have made it seem? I don't know. That's a very good question. We got to think about that. That's something to consider. He may not be. He's been dealing with injuries throughout his career, and he's been dealing with some nagging stuff, with the neck injury and the shoulder, so on and so forth. So, Lala D, that's a very interesting talking point that you brought up. Thank you. Drew Johnson, what's up, man? Hey, listen, you know what we're talking about, man. We're talking about Eagles versus Giants. We're talking about the pressure on Jalen Hurts and his Eagles team to get it done. We're talking about the pressure on the defense, to be disciplined, especially when it comes to defending Saquon Barkley and all those guys. You know how we carrying it, man. I appreciate you as always, Drew. ADW says Slay has admitted that he doesn't like to tackle. Yeah, man. Slay been podcasting too damn much, man. He better get busy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to see no Darius Slay miss tackles. I'm sorry, I'm not. Smitty Eagle says, I made it today. Couldn't miss it again. Hey, man, I appreciate you. Don't worry, man. We're going live as often as we possibly can. So don't worry, man. The content is always there for you to lock in on. Drew Johnson. Yeah, a lot of teams play nickel, but they do all kinds of things. I actually see Vikings deploy 2-4-5 nickel. Didn't work for them. Oh, man. Philly, the podcast. My man Joe Castro's in the building. Thank you, my man. He says, what up, Tone? What up, chat? Castro, hope all is well, my man. Hope all is well with you and the family. ADW, the beat. Okay, that may be the knock on Dean's pass coverage. Yeah, Nicole, he's going to get there, though. He's a young guy, and whenever he got the opportunity to play, he's tackled. He's gotten close. He's gotten to the ball. He has a nose for getting to the ball. I think one game that stands out to me is that Titans game where he was able to get in for a handful of snaps, and I think he only was out there for maybe a drive or two. And he had like 7 or 8 tackles, like a tackle for loss. Like he was active. He was everywhere, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I don't want to push it. He probably had like maybe 6 or 7 tackles, right? But still, he only was out there for a little bit, and he was that effective. He was that close to the ball. Drew Johnson says, Saquon is probably not 100%, but the Vikings pass defense was very suspect. They took advantage of them. Jones ran mostly. Yeah, right. Jones definitely took advantage of the Vikings. I got to give credit where credit is due. Daniel Jones played a hell of a game. He was successful. He did well. He did well. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. See, and I think that's why I'm probably not jumping off the deep end with this Giants win, because I knew the Giants would beat the Vikings. I knew that. A lot of people probably bet against that. I knew the Giants would beat the Vikings. I knew that. So I was paying attention to the national media, right, around that time, and a good amount of them picked the Vikings to win that game because, they were 13-4, and, they They got Justin Jefferson and Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook, and they got those edge rushers. Is it Daniil Hunter and Zadarius Smith? They got talent, but their offensive line is suspect. They have no DBs. They have no DBs. And I saw how that game went initially. And I had the Giants winning that game. And the game kind of went how I thought. The Giants beat them by one possession, a touchdown, 24-31. And let's be frank, the Giants gave up 24 points. They weren't really stopping the Vikings like that. The Vikings were able to move the ball. They were able to move that ball pretty much without fail. Now, that final drive made the game look worse than what it was because Kirk Cousins threw it short of the sticks on a 4th and 8. He threw it 3 yards. I don't understand where that logic comes in, but John McMullen brought up a good point that was a poor play call by Kevin O'Connell. So there's a lot of blame to go around, but the bottom line is Kirk Cousins went 31 for 39, threw for about 270 yards. I think he threw 3 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. No turnovers. So how much stock am I really putting into the Giants defense? Really? Okay, I'll put it to you this way, right? The New York Giants, they were able to shut down or limit Justin Jefferson, right? But other than Justin Jefferson, who does the Vikings have? Who do the Vikings have? Adam Thielen, who can't play anymore? Irv Smith, Irv Gotti, whatever his name is, who's maybe a number 3 or a board, maybe a number 2, but I think he's a number 3. Who did the Giants have to really defend? The Vikings didn't give the ball to Dalvin Cook that much. Who did they have? Okay, they got TJ Hockenson, right? And TJ Hockenson cooked them. So my thing is, the Giants, who did they have to cover outside of Justin Jefferson and TJ Hockenson? And they barely covered either of them. Justin Jefferson had a very quiet 4th quarter. I think that was the biggest issue. But regardless, you think the Giants can cover A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Dallas Goedert and still have to worry about Quez Watkins going over the top? And you still got Kenny Gainwell, Miles Sanders coming out the backfield? They're not going to be able to cover everybody. Listen, if you guys have NFL Plus, if you guys have an opportunity to rewatch that game, pay attention to the Philadelphia Eagles when they went into an empty set, right? Pay attention to when they had, I think they had 3 wide receivers out there in the tight end. It's all spread formation, empty backfield. Pay attention to that. When the Eagles spreaded the Giants out, they couldn't do anything. Guys were wide open. There was so much space on that field. This is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean by the mismatches. It's just not enough. The Giants don't have enough. They don't have enough. You should try to stop A.J. Brown. Okay, Devontae. You try to stop Devontae? All right, Dallas Goedert. You try to stop Dallas Goedert? Okay, I still got Miles Sanders back here. And on top of that, you got to worry about Jalen Hurts taking off. It's not enough. They don't have it. And am I too confident? Say what you will. Listen, I believe what I saw. I'm following the tea leaves. Y'all. Simone with the sports. What's up, sis? How you feeling? Welcome to the show, man. I'm not sure. I think this is one of your first times, locking in on the content. I know I had you on the channel. I believe in the off season or earlier this season, if I'm not mistaken. We definitely got to put in some more work. I appreciate you for locking in with me. I appreciate you for hitting that like button. I appreciate you for being subscribed to the content. It means a lot to me, and I love the work you've been putting in. You're a grinder, and man, your work ethic is unmatched. So I appreciate you for locking in on the content. I appreciate you for being a constant supporter, man. Means a lot to me. It goes a long way, and more opportunities to come for you, more opportunities to come for everybody. Again, I love Simone's work ethic. She does everything. She covers baseball. She covers basketball. She covers, high school sports. She covers college. She covers the NFL. She does a lot. So, really, really, really proud of Simone with the sports for doing her thing. And, she's somebody that I relatively recently met in this game, man. Just an overall dope individual, and I know she's a star in the making, in this industry. So it's going to be really exciting to see where she goes in her career. So thank you, Simone, for locking in. And let's get this win tomorrow. It's a big deal. It's a real big deal. It's a real big deal, man. Drew Johnson says, I already read this. I already read this. Jinx Wolf says, can't wait for tomorrow. I'm with you. Jinx. Smitty Eagle, people think we're overconfident. I think we just locked in. That's how I'm. Hey, listen, Smitty, that's how I feel about it. I'm just locked in. I just know what we bring to the table. Trust me, the NFL has forgotten. They've forgotten. But I get it, though. This is a what have you done for me lately type of league. They've forgotten. But it's okay. Jalen Hurts is about to remind these motherfuckers. Jalen Hurts is about to remind these cats how we do business over here in Philly. I'm telling you, the link is about to go up. Lincoln Financial Field is about to be on fire. It's about to be on fire. I don't think they know what they started. How my man Trey Songz go, look what you done started. I just don't think this is a Eagles team that can be stopped. I just don't think so. It's too many guys you have to account for. And it's not just that we have talent, right? These guys are skilled. These guys are actually the best at what they do. Hassan Reddick, one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. A.J. Brown, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. He's a top 5 wide receiver in his NFL. Miles Sanders, a top 5 running back right now. Right? Devontae Smith, a top 10 wide receiver. Dallas Goedert, a top 5 tight end. Jalen Hurts this season has been a top 5 quarterback this season. He's been that. Right? The offensive line, top 5. The defense, top 5. Say what you want about Jonathan Gannon. I don't agree with his philosophy. I don't agree with the way he calls things. I don't like how he plays the cornerback so far off. Listen, this team has been top 5. Top 5. That's not an accident. That's not by coincidence. That's not happenstance. That's work ethic. That's execution. That's commitment. That's talent. That's skill. That's preparation. That's blood, sweat, and tears. That's leadership. That's consistency. Not every team can check all those boxes. They just can't. They wish they could, but they can't. And that's what makes this Philadelphia Eagles team special. That's what makes Jalen Hurts special, right? I don't know what it is about that young man, but I'll follow him wherever he take me. I don't know what it is. Wherever, listen, we go left, we go left. We go right, we go right. Whatever Jalen Hurts say goes straight like that. We rocking. That young man is locked in. And what's been so spectacular about Jalen Hurts this season is it's really hard to pick out a bad game for him. Right? It's really hard to pick out a bad game. Now, has he had games where he's turned the ball over more than once? Yeah. You know, the Chicago game, he threw 2 interceptions. He threw 1 interception in that Washington Commanders game. I think he threw 1 interception. If I'm not mistaken. You know, he threw an interception in the last Giants game. I'm trying to find the other turnover. He threw an interception in that Jags game. But most of his turnovers are either fluky, like tip ball, like a tip ball or whatever. I think only one of his interceptions, maybe 2, out of his 6 interceptions, only 2 of them were like a bad read. The rest of them were a tip ball, or the wide receiver lost control, you know, or the wide receiver just got out muscled for the ball, Quez Watkins. But that wasn't even Jalen Hurts' interception. That was Gardner Minshew. So, you know, it's the bottom line is Jalen Hurts is such a uncanny leader. He's such a dominant force in terms of decision making. He is a top 5 decision maker at the position. He's a top 5 decision maker at the position. Straight like that. Smitty Eagle says, I'm not at all worried about the Giants. I'm worried about the Eagles. I dig that. Smitty also says he hasn't had one. No one can tell me differently. Yeah, like he's been able to break defenses down in so many different ways. Jinx Wolf says AJ is the best Eagles wide receiver in my lifetime. Hey, man, I can't argue with that. I would love to say T.O., but T.O. was here for such a short amount of time. But granted, AJ's only been here for a season, so we still have to let that play out as well. But AJ Brown and Terrell Owens, they're right here for me. They're right here. I really wish Terrell Owens could have had a longer career, even if we had T.O. for 3 seasons, 4 seasons. I just feel like we could have did so much more with him. But again, I can't argue with AJ. AJ's been so dominant, and AJ is just, I've watched every single game and watched this man just dominate his matchup and just how much of a physical specimen he is on the field. He's just a freak of nature. Excuse me. Just a freak of nature. Jinx Wolf, ADW, the beat. He says the interception in Washington was on Brown. The ball hit him in the hands. See, that's what I'm saying, ADW. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, most of Jalen Hurts' interceptions wasn't on his fault. Jinx Wolf says, I didn't get the CTO play. Hey, Jinx Wolf, how old are you, man? How old are you? You just told on yourself, Jinx. How old are you? Because it's 2023 now. We had him in 2004. So how old are you, Jinx Wolf? Hold up. Because I'm 28. So I got the CTO play. ADW. He says, Hurts is something special. Never too high, never too low. Natural leader that leads by example. Yeah, man. I like that. That's the perfect mentality to have in the playoffs. You can't get too high. You can't get too low. You got to stay here with it. That's why the Jags beat the Chargers, because they didn't get too high. They didn't get too low. They stayed right here. They stayed right here with it. You see, the Eagles, they have a good blend of young guys, talent, and veteran leadership, and championship pedigree. Jason Kelce, Super Bowl champion. Fletcher Cox, Super Bowl champion. Brandon Graham, Super Bowl champion. Right? Isaac Samalu, Super Bowl champion. Derek Barnett, Super Bowl champion. I know he's not playing because he has a torn ACL, but still a Super Bowl champion. So when you have guys in the trench, especially in the trenches, all of our Super Bowl champions are in the trenches, and I love that. They have the experience. They know they're going to keep this team low and slow. They're not going to have this team overcook it. Drew Johnson says, "Damn, I'm old." You only as old as you feel, my man. You only as old as you feel. You dig? Don't be down on yourself, OG, triple OG. You good, Drew? You good with me? No worries on that, man. You only as old as you feel. So again, there are numerous X factors in this game. Granted, the pressure is on the Eagles to get the job done, but there are many X factors. Jinx Wolf said he's 18. Oh yeah, you're a youngin', Jinx. You're a youngin'. I mean, to me at least. But you, hey, listen, man. One thing I will say, when I was 18, I was highly motivated to do the things that I wanted to do. I was highly motivated to make my family proud and, check so many boxes. I was highly motivated. I was highly motivated to get out of the hood. I was highly motivated to go to college and get my degree. I was highly motivated to just be successful. And I was highly motivated just to make, my journey, make my life, make all my decisions mean something. So, Jinx, look, you're a young man. Continue to grind. Understand that your whole life is ahead of you, big dog. You have so much more to accomplish. You have so many boxes to check. Don't let a moment, don't let a bad relationship, don't let a bad situation get you down. So much more to accomplish, so much more to do. Man, so much more to see, man. Like your Philadelphia Eagles win another Super Bowl. See, at least you got to see the better years, right? I mean, no, you did miss those early 2000 years were pretty dominant. But you got to see the Eagles win the Super Bowl. That's the blessing right there, Jinx. You got to see the Philadelphia Eagles win a Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, when they won that Super Bowl, because they won that in 2017-2018 season, you were what, 14 years old? 14, 15 years old when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? I give or take between 13, 14, 15. You had to be 14 probably when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, right? Something like that. So you got to see that. You got to experience that. That's a blessing. That's a blessing. Think about me, man. I'm 28, but think about the OGs, the old heads for real. That have been Eagles fans since the 70s, since the 80s, since the 90s. They've been through the Kelly Green era, the Dick Vermeil era. You know what I'm saying? The Buddy Ryan era. They've been through all those eras. The Andy Reid. Like, think about the OGs that really had to wait. You ain't had to wait that long, Jinx. So it's a blessing, man. It's cool. But listen, we might get another one. It's a strong chance we get another one. But we got to take care of our food. We got to finish our plate. We got to focus on what's in front of us. And the New York Giants are in front of the Philadelphia Eagles. I don't think they can stop them, though. I think the Giants are excited, and they've been so fired up about that win against the Minnesota Vikings that when they come to Philly, they're gonna realize, oh, it's levels to this shit. They're gonna realize real quick, oh, it's levels to this. Oh, it's levels. So yeah, we're decent, but we're not as good as we thought. And look, Daniel Jones has a playoff win. Daniel Jones is 1-0 in the playoffs. Like, that's crazy to believe. Brian Daboll, first year as a head coach, got a playoff win. Has a chance to get another one. I doubt it happens, but he has a chance as fair as anyone else. But again, they're going to realize rather quickly there's levels to this. I've been telling people all year long, the Vikings are pretenders. I've been telling people this for a long time. The Vikings were pretenders. They were not for real. I knew it. I just knew it. I felt it in my bones. They were not for real. They were Justin Jefferson or bust. And we saw how that ended up. ADW says, hey, Jinx, pull up some TO YouTube highlights, bro. Tell him, ADW, tell him, yo, pull up some Terrell Owens Eagles highlights. You'll see how crazy he was. You'll see how dominant that man was. He was that man was off the wire. Like, it was crazy. Smitty says, I've been rocking since 92. Okay. Jinx Wolf says, facts. Yeah, man, you got to see that Super Bowl. That was a big deal, man. Savvy B says, yeah, I would have loved to see Reggie play, but growing up with B-Dog was incredible. Oh, my God. Brian Dawkins, man. He was my childhood. Brian Dawkins, Brian Westbrook, Quentin Michael, Jason Avant, Jeremiah Trotter, Trent Cole, Corey Simon, Broderick Bunkley, who kind of was an underachiever. He was a first-round pick and didn't really deliver as much as we thought. But Hugh Douglas and James Thrash, Todd Pinkston, Freddie Mitchell. Those guys aren't world beaters, but that's the era I remember, right? I grew up in that early 2000s, like Eagles era. Like B-Doc was, oh my God, man. Hallelujah. Come on, man. 25 years waiting. Bro. Drew Johnson says, yeah, it was a long time waiting. Some were not here to see it. RIP. Yeah, that's a fact. It's a lot of people who waited so long to see a Super Bowl and they couldn't do it. They couldn't hold on so long. So RIP to those who been Eagles fans since they birth and they passed away without seeing an Eagles Super Bowl. I want to show love to those people, honor those people. You guys have truly been the foundation of the fan base, and this fan base doesn't exist without you guys holding it down. So I'm always big on paying homage to my elders, paying homage to my seniors, paying homage to the people that came before me. I was raised that way. And I always respect legacy. I respect commitment. I respect passion. And more than anything, I respect consistency. And the Eagles fan base has been die hard despite the turbulent years. That's what makes Philadelphia so special. The blue collar mentality, right? Nothing stopped us from supporting our Eagles. Nothing. And it's going to stay that way. Better years are ahead, and the time is now. Jinx Wolf says, I'm a diehard Eagles fan. My dad a diehard Cowboys fan. Are you serious? How do y'all live? How do y'all eat breakfast together? How do y'all see each other in the morning? How do y'all deal with each other during the regular season? How? Just tell me how. Because I wouldn't be able to have the conversations straight like that. Unspoken words says, keep grinding, brother. Keep grinding, brother. Hey, listen, man. I appreciate you. Unspoken words. Thank you so much. Appreciate your love, my guy. The grind don't stop. As long as y'all continue to have my back throughout this, I got y'all back. We're gonna keep going till the wheels fall off. EC1 football, what's going on, my man? Hope all is well. Tragic, what's up? He says, does Gannon worry you this game? Or do you think his real scheme comes out now in the playoffs where it really matters? Well, I think we already know his real scheme. I think we know who Jonathan Gannon is, right? I think this comes down to a matter of, okay, what will he do? What will he do to mask the weaknesses of the Eagles defense? Because the Eagles defense doesn't have too many weaknesses. The main weakness on the Eagles defense is the slot. I think I got an eyelash in my eye. That's the main weakness of the Eagles defense. Excuse me, y'all. So I do worry about Jonathan Gannon in this game. I'll be honest. I do worry. I worry. But also tragic. Hear me out on this. If you get a chance, rewatch that first Giants matchup with the Eagles. If you get a chance, rewatch that. Because you'll see just how well Jonathan Gannon's scheme worked. You'll see. Ultimately, the Giants really couldn't do much. Yeah, they drove down the field. They were able to put up 22 points. But the Eagles, they were just unstoppable. They were just unstoppable. Man, isn't it the worst when an eyelash gets in your eye? That's like the absolute worst. Oh, man. Anyway. All right, let's try to keep this train going. EC1 says Corell Bughalter. Man, Corell Bughalter. Shit, it's been a while. I forgot about Corell Bughalter. Mansa Musa was going on. He says, yo, I got it 31-17. Smitty, Dallas, Goddard, CJ, and Hassan will be the game changers. Watch. That's a pretty good score. That's a pretty good score. My score prediction, matter of fact, I'm going to give you guys my score prediction. My score prediction is 31-23 Eagles. Now, that's an 8-point win. I think we dominate the game. I think the Giants end up scoring late, though. So I think the Eagles win this game 31-23. Mike Patterson, yeah, man. Darlin Walker, yo, listen, EC1, you preaching right now. Jameer Adams says, I remember that era. It was fire. Hell yeah, it was fire. They was hitting their ass off back then, wasn't it, Jameer? Jameer, they was hitting back then. They was hitting back then. Tragic says Weapon X was the best, man. He was more. Did I tell you guys how I met him? I met him. Let me see if I can find a picture, man. Let me see if I can find it. Man, meeting Brian Dawkins was special. It was honestly special. Let me see if I can find it because, man. Let me see if I can find it. Man, I met Brian Dawkins, and that was one of the most life-changing moments of my life. You guys. That was one of the most life-changing moments in my life. Give me a second. I'm about to find it. Here it is. All right. Here it is. Found it. All right. Let's see. Let me get it over to the iMac. Because Brian Dawkins, Brian Dawkins is really such a cool dude. He's such a cool dude, man. And he's so humble. He really is as advertised. He really is as advertised. He really is as advertised. All right, let me see if I can get this up for you, man. Let me see if I can pull this up. All right, let's see. All right, give me a moment. Because Brian Dawkins is my man. It's my man. Are you kidding me? All I know is, man, look, let me oh, I know what to do. I know what to do. I'm gonna do it like this. Because look, when I met Brian Dawkins, he just showed so much love. He gave me so much hope. Like he's just a genuine good dude. Like just a really good dude, man. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna pull this picture up because when I say it, got it, found it. All right, there we go. All right, I'm gonna blow your mind. I'm gonna blow your mind with this one. Look at this. Look at this. Your boy met B Dog. Your boy met B Dog. Man, when I tell you, I walked up to B Dog, right? And I actually had a chance to really talk to him. I was talking to B Dog for about 10 minutes. It had to be like 5 to 10 minutes. And, y'all know how long a 10-minute conversation lasts. 5 to 10 minute conversation lasts. It lasts. You know what I'm saying? And I just had to give credit. I just had to let him know how much he changed, how much he meant to my childhood. I had to let him know how much he meant to like just everything. EC1 said Dhani Jones. Yeah, I remember Dhani Jones. Hey, what's going on, Nina? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Nina. Happy Friday. Drew Johnson said, stop rubbing. I know, man. It's hard. It's hard to stop rubbing my eye when the eyelash fall in. It's so hard. I'm sorry. It's hard. It's hard. Pause. All right. Tragic says, okay, I will watch that game because honestly, I was working that game. Didn't get to watch it all the way. Tragic, watch it. Watch that first Giants matchup. You'll see the Eagles dominate their matchups for the most part. You'll see Hassan Reddick killing Evan Neal. You'll see Jonathan Gannon's defense doing a pretty good job. Honestly, the pass rush really dictated that game, if I'm being completely honest with you. The Eagles pass rush was dictating the pace. That's just honestly what happened. Quincy the Great says Eagles 38-14. Smitty Eagle says Eagles 41-17. EC1 Football says Eagles 42-8. Nina Austin says I got the Eagles 30-17. Jameer Adams says that's a fact. I miss having guys that hit like that. Man, they was smacking guys back in the day. Remember when we had TKO Spikes? TKO Spikes used to hit too. Savvy B, he says, want to feel old. Jeremiah Trotter, son is in college. And damn, that's crazy. Yo, that's wild. That's wild, man. That's crazy. EC1 says, I met Quentin Michael, got his autograph. Quentin Michael came to my school before. He came to my middle school, my elementary school. Him and who was that fullback we had back in the day? Was it Klecko? Who was that fullback the Eagles had back in the day? I can't remember. Jameer Adams says the league won't allow defense to play that aggressive anymore. Of course they won't, man. It's all about scoring now. Jinx Wolf said I met Michael Vick. Where'd you meet him at, Jinx? EC1 says, how about Jeremiah Trotter? Hell yeah. Taylor Walker Devon says, I was playing with Deuce Staley and Madden before I knew the rules of football. Deuce was that bull, man. Flat out. Anthony Dwayne says, I met Nick Sirianni. That's tough. Where'd you meet him at, Anthony? Yeah, EC1. I knew he battled depression. You know, I watched his documentary on the NFL Network, A Football Life with Brian Dawkins. Yeah, man, he been through a lot. Nina Austin said, that's awesome you met him. I know it was life-changing. It was so dope. It was so dope. Yo, B Dog is my favorite Eagle of all time, EC1. Easily my favorite Eagle of all time. For me, my favorite Eagles are okay. So B Dog is goated. B Dog is top tier. But after that, it's like Brian Westbrook and Trent Cole. You know, like I'm a real big Trent Cole fan. I'm a real big Brian Westbrook fan. LaShawn McCoy, obviously, Jeremy Maclin. You know, yo, that's sick. The Wolverine, yeah, yo, he's a humble dude. Hey, listen, let me show you guys something else, man. I'm sure you got something else. Who else I met that same day? I'm gonna show you guys how I met. I met Brian Westbrook. Yeah. I get around, y'all. I get around. I get around a little bit. I get around. Oh man, Westbrook is such a cool dude too, man. Such a cool dude. Oh man, I told y'all. I get around. I shake hands. Man, it was such a cool experience. I met these guys at the annual Maxwell Awards. You know, that's where they give out, you know, the biggest college awards like the Chuck Bednarik Award and stuff like that. You know, It was a pretty cool experience. It was a pretty cool experience. ADW says, taking this stroll down memory lane, seeing you with Big Dog made me think about the upcoming draft. A bona fide linebacker and safety will help solidify our defense. I agree. Definitely. Yeah. I think we definitely need to go DB for sure in this draft, bringing another safety. We definitely need another corner. Definitely need another corner. Dope pick. Thanks, Drew. I appreciate you. Jinx Wolf says 42-14. Jameer Adams says Spikes was a dog. Yeah, I wish we had Spikes longer, man. I think we only had TK or Spikes for what, like a season or two, if that. Oh, Jinx, you met him at your cousin football game. That's fire. That's fire. Yo, Michael Vick always been a man of the people. AC1 says Dan Klecko. Oh my God. Yo. Oh man. Quezzy says mine Shady, D-Jack, and Vic. Hey, listen, I ain't mad at that, man. I ain't mad at that. Anthony Dwayne says I met Sirianni at Dick's Sporting Goods in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He was buying baseball stuff for his kid. Get the hell out of here. So you just met him on a humbug. You just met him on a whim. That's so dope. Wicked One says Charter Sun goes to my favorite college team, Clemson, maybe. Hey, I heard he's pretty good too. Early Russo, what's going on, man? He says Brent Selleck. Yeah, Brent Selleck was a beast. I don't think Brent Selleck get a lot of credit, man. He had a very good career. I love that Brent Selleck got a Super Bowl ring. I love it. Quincy the Great says, bro, tell me you remember the play when Westbrook went deep on a play in the Super Bowl and Nad missed him. Oh my God, please. Yo, Quez, do not get me started. Do not get me started. I am very critical of Donovan McNabb. I am very critical, but at the same time, he had to endure a lot. He had to endure a lot. EC1 says I hated Chip for releasing Cole. There was no reason. Yo, you're right. I agree with that. There was no reason. No reason. Trent Cole still had gas in the tank. I think he went to the Titans after that, if I'm not mistaken. Where did he? No, he went to the Colts. I think he went to the Colts after that. The Colts. Quez said I was crying. Oh man. Wicked One says I met a dude who used to play for the Cardinals. He was a Dodger. He was at a Dodger game I was at a couple years ago. That's tough, man. See, yo, isn't it so cool meeting your favorite sports guys? Listen, I got some more. I got some more for you guys. I met Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor, star running back for the Colts. That was pretty cool. He's a humble guy, man. A real humble dude. Shows a lot of love. I was talking to him for a while. I met Rodney McLeod at the same event. I didn't get a picture with Rodney because I was a little nervous. Super Bowl champion. I was a little nervous when I met Rodney McLeod. I can't lie, man. I can't lie. Quez, I grew up hating the Patriots. Easily. I grew up hating the Patriots. EC1 says, I remember LJ Smith had it dropped in, but what a waste. We took him over Witten. Yo, LJ Smith, man. I felt like he underachieved, and we definitely took him over Witten, man. We could have had, bro. Don't get me started, bro. Don't get me started. Wicked One says, yeah, he had beats that Clemson, made a lot of tackles and great plays this year. You talking about Jeremiah Charter Son still? Yeah, man. Yeah, but yo, I met Jonathan Taylor. That was a really cool experience. Jonathan Taylor is such a cool dude, man. I actually met him before they signed Wentz. So. Because I was talking to him and I said, "Hey man, like you think you think y'all can, you got another season in you like that, man? You had a hell of a season." He said, "Listen, man, we got to get that quarterback. We got to get that quarterback position figured out. We got to." And then they brought in Carson Wentz. So, yeah, man. All right, let's see. Let me. I forgot who I met these days, man. Let me see. Jordan Davis. Yeah. I told you guys how I met Jordan Davis before we even drafted him. I shook his hand. I spoke to him. I said, "Yo, JD, you know you coming to Philly, right?" I told him. I said, "Yo, JD, you know you coming to Philly." He said, "Hey, man, that's what I'm here." Like, listen, I love to play here. You know what I'm saying? I love the area. I love the people. He said he said my mom an Eagles fan, so he said, "Look, I'll listen, bro. That's the plan. That's the goal." You know what I'm saying? Jordan Davis, he big as hell. That motherfucker big, bro. That's just a big dude. That's just a big dude. But yeah, Jordan Davis, man, I met him before we drafted him. Isn't it crazy how like how things just fall into place? EC1 says, who remembers the 2008 NFC Championship game where we lost to the Cardinals? Oh, that was a heartbreaker because I felt like we were supposed to win that game, but we just didn't have an answer for Larry Fitzgerald. We had no answer for Larry Fitzgerald. It's just that simple. Wicked One says, I was born into a Raider family. So blessed to not have any Cowgirl fans in my family. I don't blame you. I do not blame you. Let me hurry up and get through the slideshow so I can get back to full screen. I met Bryce Young. Bryce Young was a real cool dude, man. Bryce Young was he real chill, laid back, real cool dude. I met Ron Jaworski, cool dude as well. I met Sean Alexander. Now I'm taking it back on you. Sean Alexander, former MVP, man. Sean Alexander was one of my favorite running backs back in the day. I love Sean Alexander. I met my man Palmer. My man, oh my God, Jesus, why am I blanking on this? Why am I blanking? Paul Boo Boo Palmer. That's what it is. Paul Palmer. College Football Hall of Fame, Temple Hall of Fame. One of the best running backs to ever run for Temple. One of the best running backs to ever run for Temple, man. One of the best. Michael Barkan, Ray Didinger. Just cool dudes, man. Cool dudes. And the Jacob Sports team, it was pretty cool. So, yeah, man. I had an opportunity to meet some people. And it's all about taking advantage of opportunities and just having fun, man. You got to live life on your terms, and it's pretty much that simple. But you guys, I'm about to get out of here. We've been live for about an hour. I got another live stream later on tonight. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Look, you guys, I got a special guest tonight. Lord Brunson will be on the channel tonight. LB, the bully. Lord Brunson will be on Chalk It Up Sports tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Tell a friend, tell your family, tell your kids, tell your wife, tell your cousin, your aunties. No, your boy Tone DeShields II will be live tonight with your boy Lord Brunson, LB, the bully. Y'all already know how I get down, man. I appreciate y'all so much for showing love to me, showing love to the YouTube channel, showing love to the content. It goes a long way. And trust and believe, I do not take it for granted. So I was your humble host, Tone DeShields II. You guys have been locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry. And fly, Eagles, fly.